Rick Ross is one of the most successful musicians in the world, but few realize he also dabbles in the world of CPG. So, what can CPG professionals learn from the hip hop legend? I've always believed that hip hop and CPG entrepreneurship are linked together. This is probably why you see just so many hip hop artists that are involved with the CPG industry, either through entrepreneurship or investing in the consumer sector. If you've consumed the first four episodes of this content series, which covered Notorious B.I.G., Nas, Jay Z, and Drake, you already know the format of this edutainment content series. For those that are new to this party, though, I'll be selecting a collection of favorite lyrics or quotes from the hip hop artists that provide keen lessons for any CPG entrepreneur or professional. While his overall business activity is lower compared to Jay Z, you might be surprised to learn that Rick Ross is an active investor across the CPG industry. Interestingly, Rick Ross and Jay Z both got their start in the CPG world through the same alcoholic beverage entrepreneur. Brett Berish, the CEO of Sovereign Brands, who founded Armand de Brignac, aka Ace of Spades, also founded the sparkling rosé brand Luc Belaire. In 2013, Rick Ross became essentially the brand's ambassador, which skyrocketed Luc Belaire in the rap game. According to a Wine Searcher report at that time, Luc Belaire went from really just being searched a few times, I think it was like 16 in 2012, to being one of the 100 most searched wine brands on the site just 2 years later. A decade later, there aren't many artists as synonymous with a particular brand, quite like Rick Ross is with Luc Belaire, even earning himself the nickname Rick Rozay. Likely due to the successful longtime partnership, Rick Ross is also involved in several other Sovereign Brands alcohol portfolio companies. These include Bumbu Rum, which is also partly owned by rapper Lil Wayne, Vallone, a cognac brand, and a gin brand called McQueen and the Violet Fog. Now, Rick Ross might be best known for his alcoholic beverage investments, but he also dabbles in the packaged food side of the CPG industry. The first investment was with Rap Snacks, which is a successful snack food company that features hip hop artists on the brand's packaging with co created flavors. Rick Ross is also involved in Control, which stands for Catered to Real Life, a meal replacement and functional food brand. I've talked about this brand before in content as the esports position brand was initially partnered with and had an investment from the lifestyle gaming team FaZe Clan. And then finally, Rick Ross is also invested in hemp companies that are involved in creating various kind of like packaged SKUs. But as you can see, Rick Ross is no rookie when it comes to the depth and breadth of his CPG investments. It's also my belief that lyrics from his extensive catalog of music spanning more than a decade and quotes from various interviews will provide strong lessons for any CPG professional. I picked out a handful of my favorites that I know will bring you value. The first one is from one of my all time favorite entrepreneurship motivation songs. But the lyric goes, "Ambition is priceless. That's something in your veins, and I doubt that will ever change." I believe ambition is more of an inborn trait. It's like a sixth sense that overrides both talent and resources when it comes to the most important tools for achieving success in the CPG industry. Now, success can come in many different colors as a CPG entrepreneur, but ambition provides the desire to achieve it and the willingness to stay committed even in the face of adversity or failure. The second notable Rick Ross quote that is valuable to the CPG industry is that every boss started as a worker. Maybe more than any other industry, what you don't know will hurt you in the CPG space. It's maybe unpopular advice, but anytime a green, fresh faced person asks me about starting a CPG brand, I always tell them to go work in the industry first. See, if you can work your way up the ladder inside a CPG brand, even if this means you take a few steps back in your career, that will allow you to learn the business from the ground up without much risk. And it will allow you to see if you can excel within the CPG industry. The next Rick Ross lyric states, I know Pablo Noriega, the real Noriega, he owes me 100 favors. So maybe you've heard this concept called the emotional bank account. Every time you interact with another, you are either making a deposit through some type of relationship affirming actions, or you're making a withdrawal when there's a relationship damaging deed. I'm a big proponent of giving more value than you take in any interaction. While that might not mean you ever collect on those favors, being in a net positive emotional bank account position is always preferable in the CPG industry. If this idea is interesting to you, I'd suggest checking out a pivotal episode I did with the co founder of Life Aid Beverage Company, Aaron Hind, where he describes how it has been an important aspect of how he lives his life. The fourth Rick Ross lyric that provides a lesson that's often overlooked by CPG entrepreneurs is got a budget for the lawyer though. What can get often overlooked through the day to day grind of the CPG industry is that we still live in a litigious society. As your CPG brand grows bigger, you'll have more of these like class action lawsuit lawyers looking to pick apart every aspect of your actions. The same can be true about competitors, as many of the largest CPG categories are sadly won through legal actions, not the competitive landscape or like the playing field. The fifth Rick Ross lyric that I want to mention is living fast where it's all about the money bags, never front. This is more of a cautionary tale, but sometimes you can have quick success in a high margin CPG category. That will bring you money fast, but don't let it change you as a person. Acting like you're better than you really are or putting up a false facade will catch up to you eventually. I promise you that, because the CPG industry is relentless. It will take away anything and everything it gave you if you don't act right. The next Rick Ross lyric that's powerful for CPG entrepreneurship states, how many people you bless is how you measure your success. So, this is more of a life lesson than strictly something for CPG entrepreneurs. True success begins when you begin giving back and not a moment sooner. Monetary and professional success does not become a complete banquet of life well lived until every dish is served, giving back to the very foundation of a successful life. It is the appetizer that comes before the main course of living a life of your dreams. The seventh Rick Ross lyric that relates to the CPG industry is least whips bad blood, that shit'll sink ships. Fast money coming slow, you better think quick. So there's a lot of ways to interpret this and apply this lesson to the CPG industry, but I see it as the downfalls of faking it until you make it. In certain CPG categories, sports nutrition, the entrepreneurs think they need to sell this lifestyle. And sometimes that lifestyle isn't even real by the person pretending it to be online. When all that faking it doesn't get backed up by real revenue, things come crashing down hard. Be authentic, show the progress, even the ugly stuff. Consumers appreciate that realism more than ever now. Next up is maybe one that could be a bit controversial depending on your personality, but it states, if you're a hater, we make you scared to show your face. It's called success. You may not have the background, skills, or resources that everyone thinks are necessary to succeed in the CPG industry, but you are confident in what you can accomplish. The most rewarding things you do in life are often the ones that look like they cannot be done. A chip on the shoulder focuses your efforts on an endeavor that has an emotional effect on you. This creates a need for you, a motivation to win. And as the flames are fanned, it creates energy. Passion is what produces extraordinary efforts, and having a chip on your shoulder is just another way to elicit it. The ninth Rick Ross lyric is a simple one, but also could be overlooked too often when you're in a day to day grind of CPG entrepreneurship. And this is when he states, I multiplied my hustle, stimulated my mind. Too many lean on traditional academia type continual learning, but the best way to stimulate your mind in the CPG industry is through the school of hard knocks. Getting punched in the face, adapting from it, and coming back stronger is the essence of success in the CPG industry. How do you multiply those learning opportunities? You multiply your hustle. The CPG industry isn't a 9 to 5 space. And that lesson translates into my last one. You guys didn't think I was going to have a content piece about Rick Ross lyrics and CPG entrepreneurship and not include the iconic line, "Every day I'm hustling." Maybe it's seeing CPG products all over in every retailer, maybe being familiar with them through daily use, or maybe even making them a version of them like at your house. Those things create a bit of this like Dunning-Kruger effect in the CPG industry. This occurs when a person's lack of knowledge and skills in a certain area causes them to overestimate their own competence. Every day is filled with numerous wins and lessons from selling unit by unit. The simplicity of that action and the complexity of replicating it thousands or maybe millions of times annually can be daunting. The CPG industry might look easy, but it is very far from it. But I just want to end on some quick final thoughts. You can learn about business in different ways, and inspiration or the motivation to succeed can come from anywhere and everywhere around you. I've noticed that amongst the lyrics of hip hop music, many artists pass on knowledge and experiences just like your business mentors. For me, one of the best at providing me with business value over the years has been Rick Ross. Combine that with his CPG industry investing success, and it shouldn't be difficult to see why Rick Ross is someone every CPG entrepreneur could learn from. But I hope you enjoyed this YouTube video. If you did, consider checking out the other 4 previous episodes of the Hip Hop and CPG Entrepreneurship series. If you have a favorite Rick Ross lyric that has inspired you that I missed, please leave a comment down below or reach out to me on any of my social media accounts that I do always leave in the contents description. Oh, and one last thing, if you aren't already a subscriber to my YouTube channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button to support me. But thank you for tuning in on this particular video, and I'll see you in the next one.